welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. So today is a viewer requested video. Now if you have a request for a video, whether it's a tip, a trick, a technique, maybe it's something you're struggling to store in your craft room, you can drop those in the comments below. We love to hear from you and know what you'd like to see here at the Hedgehog Hollow. Now today I'm going to be talking about embossing your dies. Now you can heat emboss your dies to create your own faux metal embellishments or just add a little bit more pop to your card, and that's going to be showing you. Somebody asked me how to kind of avoid that kind of spill when you're doing this technique. So we're going to start off with a die cut just on regular cardstock. This is the ultra smooth white from Tonic that I use. This is the Altenew Fancy Hello die, and I'm going to run it through my Gemini Junior. I'm just going to do one. Now you could layer multiples of these together and use your Nouveau glue pen to glue them together, create a thicker embellishment, and you might want a little bit of spill so that it went over the edge. But for this one, we're just going to do a one layer, and we're just going to run this through, get a nice clean cut. I'm going to work on a Tonic Easy Clean Mat. Now, of course, if you are a Perks member, you can get 10% off at Tonic. And you can get these easy clean mats in a multiple of sizes. I'm using my Tonic craft pick. You all know that's my favorite tool, one tool that everyone needs to have to poke it out my die. And so here I have quite an intricate die. So this is the perfect one to show it on. So easy clean mat, the glossy side goes down. That's what sticks it to your surface. This is actually the one that fits on the palette area of your Tim Holtz mat. And that's what we're going to work on here. So what we need to do is take our clear mark pad, or whichever glue pad you like best. I have done a review on different glue pads, but I like using the Nouveau clear mark one. And what you do is apply it all over your ink pad. I'm also going to get my heat embossing tool ready to use, because we're going to need to use that. And again, different embossing tools. I have a review on whether you want to use the Wow tool, the Wagner tool. I have them all under my desk, but they're not always plugged in. So I'm going to make sure that one gets plugged in for you. And then I'm going to use the Tidy tray or Tiny tray. You all know I love this one. And then I have Nouveau Fine Classic Gold Embossing Powder here. And an extra pink spoon. This one must have been tillied recently. And all I do is pop it into my tiny tray here and spoon my embossing powder over. I'm going to tip it all back in at the end. So we'll just leave that off to the side. And I love these Tula Pinks tweezers. I will link these particular ones in the description for you. I like them because they have a nice long nose like this. You can see I can easily get this out. So this is layer number one. And what you want to do is don't hold onto it. Pop your tweezers inside of one of the loops. There'll be a loop somewhere in your die cut. You want to just pop your tweezers inside and heat. So just heat this one. This first layer is not going to be that even. Don't worry about it. Just heat it. Now by using a fine embossing powder, you'll get a more even first layer than if you use a regular embossing powder. If you use just a normal grade embossing powder, you'll be a little more blotchy. Don't worry about it. We're going to add multiple layers to it to even it all out and give you that really nice fine. But you'll see my fine embossing powder is far more even than you'll get with a normal embossing powder. If I'm using a regular grade embossing powder, I'm going to put 2 to 3 coats on it. If I'm using a fine embossing powder, I'm probably only going to need 2 coats to get that perfect edge on it. You can see this already looks pretty good. However, next tip, don't put your clear mark on it straight away for your second one, because this takes a minute to cool down, and all what will happen is this will just stick straight onto your hello, and trust me, it's not fun because it sticks onto your pad, it ruins yourself a pad. So just give it a minute to cool down. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself a surface sweep, and I'm just going to brush away any excess powder that might be on my little mat here. So next thing I'm going to do, now I can go back with my clear mark pad. Ink it back up again, pop it back into our tiny tray, Spoon some more gold over the top. If you have a bottle, you can, do the same process. And you don't need to worry about an anti-static tool for this technique either. Again, don't tweeze it, just hook it up. That's why I love these tweezers. I use these tweezers all the time. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put our tweezers in a loop and we're going to heat. And because I've used a fine embossing powder, as I say, I only need to do 2 coats. If I'm using a regular grade embossing powder, I might need 3 coats. Depending on the size of my sentiments, sometimes you'll need to get up to 4 coats. But you will be able to see how your sentiment looks. And you kind of just have to make that judgment call as to how many coats you need. And just kind of look at it. But you'll see when you see this sentiment close up that I have a really nice sentiment. Now, if for instance, I had a piece that had a little bit of an overrun, what you're going to do is you're going to move that sentiment off that area where you've just heated it. You would give it a quick reheat and you're going to find that little bit of overrun is going to remelt, go back into the place that it should be, and you're going to have no issues. Now, if you had somewhere that had a really large droplet because you had a large particle of embossing powder, what I advise you to do is take the Tonic craft knife version of this, hold it down, cut it off, reheat that area, and it will automatically bevel itself off. And it will be fixed because that's what embossing powder does. So you really can fix any mistakes, but this looks amazing. I mean, it's like a beautiful beveled gold sentiment. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's just with a regular die cut on a piece of cardstock. You all own dies in your craft room. You all own probably an electronic cutting machine of some description as well, like a Cricut, maybe a scan and cut, a silhouette if you have one of those. You can cut any sentiment. You could cut a name, a monogram at a wedding, all sorts of fun things, and then just add your embossing powder on the top and create these absolutely beautiful sentiments as well. So super quick and simple tip for you. That's how you can do it. And of course you can do it with a million different colors of embossing powder too. I mean, we have the Wows, the Nouveaux, so many different options, and our Perks members can get some great savings as well on all of their supplies at Tonic, Ellen Hudson, Thermoweb, all of those great places too. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and of course hit that join button. And if you enjoyed today's tip, don't forget to give us a thumbs up as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again tomorrow with another tip, trick, technique, or maybe something a little bit different. Happy crafting everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.